Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. As today, with the Necromancer's hut behind us, we turn our attention to the rest of the Blighted Village, which does include some areas I may have been trying to avoid, but, you know, I am nothing if not a completionist. That said, we do have a couple of other points to touch on real quick. Not that I'm trying to delay the inevitable, but you may have noticed that we do, in fact, have summoned Cheeky Quasit on Auric. I didn't have to jump through any hoops for that. Apparently it just kind of happened. I think the trigger was when we talked to Shovel and he recognized us as a spellcaster. But for some reason the ability didn't immediately appear on our hotbar. I had to go and manually move it there. And then while I was at it, of course, I went ahead and cleaned up the rest of our hotbars as well. I will note, though, that, sadly, Find Familiar does not stack with Cheeky Quasit. We only have a single familiar summon slot, and they both use it, so we can't have both at a time because that would be overly familiar. Same deal with Gale and Quoth, but it does give us options and some redundancy. If we were to lose Rex, for example, we could still summon Shovel as a backup without having to take a short rest. We could technically have both of them summon Shovel at once, too, which is fun, if somewhat questionable. And, you know, speaking of questionable, that does bring us to our next point, which is that by popular raider demand, we shall leave no tome unplundered.
The book is locked tight with no visible keyhole. Only an oval recess in the cover's mouth. You try to examine the book, but the longer you stare, the more those piercing amethyst eyes draw you in.
Curious. Why don't you take a closer look? I'll observe from back here.
Please don't open the creepy book.
Yeah, sorry, Karlach. The voices in my head have spoken. This is the will of the Cosmic Squid Boss. These pages must be unbound. I love that music. Oof. But certainly fair.
The book's pull is irresistible. You feel changed, bettered for having opened it. Suddenly you are capable of anything. Felling mountains, darkening suns, conversing with the dead. Glyphs shift gently before your eyes. Words slip into your mind, onto your lips, forming words you don't understand. And something is trying to reply.
Nothing to worry about. Cosmic Squid Boss has our back. See? We're fine. Hey, look at that. Everything's okay and will be forever.
The symbols move aggressively, probing your mental defenses. Your patron is there to defend you, but there's only so much they can do.
I'm sure we're still fine. Oof. Wisdom, huh? Yeah, you know, that's good. Squid Boss still has our back. Well, you know, we've got some inspiration banked. I'm sure we can spare a point or two. No big deal. Hey, and look at that. Persistence pays off. Everything's fine forever. Again. Forever squared. Hey, Layla, what's up, baby?
The world around you is gone. You can only see those glyphs, only hear those voices. You feel claws moving in the shadows. They pull at you, dragging you closer.
No, that's just Layla. She, it's like 40 degrees right now. She just wants to be a lap warmer. Share body heat, you know? You worry, warts. DC 20 wisdom check. Sure, why not? Oh, my goodness. Okay, yep, see, everything's fine. Told you.
The glyphs scream, branding your mind with strange runes. You see time rewritten, fate undone, your future thrumming with power. The book snaps closed. You've seen too much. What profane knowledge is now seared inside of you you should never have known.
Not my first time. And Gale, you utter hypocrite, you disapproved of me flipping through that book and... Wow, really? Okay. Methinks it's not so much that he disapproves of me reading the book as it is he disapproves of me not letting him read the book. Though that does beg the question of whether we could actually have him do that. Not that I suppose we really seem to have gotten anything out of it. I'm not seeing anything new on our hotbar. Though, then again, as we saw with the Cheeky Quasit, they don't really do a great job of clearly communicating when you get a new power or ability.
You've seen much of the book, but its most powerful secrets are guarded by indecipherable glyphs. Without a key, they may be locked away forever.
Right. So we need like a cipher or another keystone or something. Fair enough. Can't give up all your secrets at once. Oh, wait a sec. We seem to have 2 Speak with Dead spells on our list now. I think it just gave us a redundant ability, and that's why... Oh, yeah. We shouldn't have Speak with Dead on the left part of our hotbar. I moved those all over to the right. So that is new. That actually frees up our next slot. So we'll have to keep an eye out for something worth necking.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
Moonhaven.
And now with that bit of mundane business behind us, time for the mind-obliterating insanity.
Don't mind if I do.
That loose stone marks the edge of what we've explored.
Here goes nothing.
Yeah.
As you approach, a guttural scream and a succession of quick bangs rattle the door. Then, a low moan. Someone, or something, is having a bit of fun.
It's so much more obvious now that I know what it is. Hello?
Go away!
You know what? That's fair. That is a barn that will simply have to remain unstormed. I mean, look, I investigated. Someone asked me to kindly get lost. I will oblige. See, now if the book had also asked me not to read it, then maybe I wouldn't have read it. Instead, it enticed me by telling me that it wasn't too late to read it. Oh, Layla. Hold on. And we're back. Yeah, sorry about that. It's been like an hour, but someone pulled the fire alarm. I'm just so well insulated in my recording area that I barely even heard it. But man, the cats sure did. They all jumped up and lit out of the room. I'm assuming as soon as it started. That's what caused me to go investigate. Seems to be a false alarm, though. I loitered around outside for a bit, chatted up a few neighbors. No one seemed to have any idea what was going on, and eventually someone came along and turned it off. So I guess back to exploring this disaster instead of living through my own. Just the way I prefer it. Looks like we could get up on this rooftop. I'm just not sure there's any reason to. I might check that off screen. Ooh, +1 dagger. Don't mind if I do.
A feast fit for an ogre. You notice a peculiar dagger protruding from the tough, leathery meat.
Huh. Well, it is nice to meet you. I guess I will investigate. Yeah, that seems about right.
You notice the blade is at an angle to the meat's grain. If you align the dagger with the grain, it should slip out easily.
Cool. Well, we'll do that then. We will not fail to remove this knife from a piece of meat.
Thanks to your keen eye, the dagger glides smoothly out of the mystery meat.
Awesome.
Mystery meat, tough as boar hide. Only the sharpest teeth could pierce it.
Sure, yeah. It's not like we have incredible eldritch powers at our disposal or anything. Surely there was no other way we could have possibly freed this +1 dagger from the grip of the mighty meat.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
We'll go ahead and toss that over to Shadowheart. She needs a replacement for her rapier. So yeah, that was really kind of dumb, but I also really kind of loved it. I always liked dropping random mundane skill checks on my players back in the day, just to keep them on their toes, but every so often it would be something relevant. Usually to set like a baseline DC for some sort of upcoming middle finger moment. You know, like a mundane rope use skill check. A session before you know someone's going to try to steal their horses, or a basic acrobatics check as they try to navigate a rickety staircase. Just to determine how stable their footing is when you know they're like 10 feet from hitting an oil slick trap. That man died, by the way. Rest in peace, Axel the Axe, 5th level fighter. Survived a shipwreck, tanked a Lernian Pyro Hydra.
On my way.
And then died falling down some stairs because they were rationing healing. And he only had 3 hit points left when he fell down like 5 flights of stairs. To be fair, the party was going to raise him. They just lost his body in another dimension. You know, as happens, common adventuring hazard. Alright, yeah, I think we're done. Let's just hop the bridge and we'll fill in the gaps between the two regions.
What's that?
Why, that would be delicious treasure. And one of the many reasons I have to check every corner in this game. Uh-oh.
My, what manner of place is this? A path to redemption? or a road to damnation. Hard to say, for your journey is just beginning. What would suit the occasion? The words to a lullaby, perhaps. The mouse smiled brightly. It outfoxed the cat. Then down came the claw. And that, love, was that. They do know how to write them in Cormier, don't they? Well met, I am Raphael. Very much at your service.
Auric Alchem. Always a pleasure to meet a gaudily dressed stranger who walks up and starts a poetry recital in the ruins of a cursed village.
Charmed, I'm sure, in more ways than one. We should have a chat, you and I, but not here. This quaint little scene is decidedly too middle of nowhere for my tastes. Come.
Wildly inappropriate.
There, middle of somewhere.
I don't like this at all.
Yeah, the organ music's a bit much. So where exactly are we?
The House of Hope, where the tired come to rest and the famished come to feed lavishly. Go on, partake, enjoy your supper. After all, it might just be your last.
So was I just not supposed to notice the giant devil portrait over your fireplace? Also, why would this be my last meal?
Call it a ninth sense.
Oh no, you're a devil, no way.
What's better than a devil you don't know? A devil you do.
Fuck. A Cambion.
Am I a friend? Potentially. An adversary? Conceivably. But a savior? That's for certain.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Raph. I mean, while I do generally try to avoid story spoilers, I, A, remember you from early access, and B, I also know that your ability to actually cure us was cut alongside the rest of the Abyss content. Hard pass.
Come now, why play hard to get when you're in deep over your tadpoled head? One skull, 2 tenants, and no solution in sight. I could fix it all, like that.
You know, that would almost be tempting, if not for the fact that literally last night I watched someone else get screwed over by a devil deal. So you'd have to be a special kind of stupid to think that I'd actually make one myself. That aside, I'm already spoken for. You do not want to make Cosmic Squid Boss mad.
And what is madness but a denial of reality? Still, I have a feeling you'll change your mind before it's changed for you. Try to cure yourself. Shop around. Beg, borrow, and steal. Exhaust every possibility until none are left. And when hope has been whittled down to the very marrow of despair, that's when you'll come knocking on my door. Hope. Such a tease.
That's what separates us from the devils, soldier. They think our greatest strength is a weakness.
Yeah, I think I'm still gonna pass. But, hey, I appreciate the effort. It was It was good for a chuckle.
I've always wondered what a laughing mind flayer sounds like. All those pretty little symptoms, sundering skin, dissolving guts, they haven't manifested yet, have they? One might say you're a paragon of luck. I'll be there when it runs out.
Oh, that was fun. But yeah, sadly, again, whilst I have generally tried to avoid story spoilers, I have looked at lists of things that didn't make the final cut. And all the Abyss stuff, including Raphael's solution, were on it. Apparently the original intent was that, you know, mid to late game, you'd gain access to these optional Abyss areas where you could essentially farm soul coins, which in turn you could then redeem for various prizes, including potentially that. At least that was the general gist of it. And I think we're done here. Oh, yes, let's check around and under the bridge. That's the one last little gap I think we have to fill. We should have a way down somewhere. Oh, yep, there it is, right across. And this, of course, is where we fought the exploding hyenas. That's the wrecked caravan just off to our right. And then, of course, we've also got that burning building just off to the left, but we'll hold off on that for now. We need to rest before any more serious adventuring. Oh, also, side note, apparently, amidst the various Abyss things that were cut, was the conclusion to Karlach's personal quest, though they have thankfully since re-implemented it. Just, you know, not in the Abyss. Apparently her original ending, prior to them restoring some of that content, was basically her just hinting that that was what she was off to do, returning to the Abyss to harvest soul coins and find some way to fix herself. Which obviously left a lot of people unhappy. Yeah, we're not going to go out there just yet. So I'm glad to hear they went back and fixed it. Also, tangentially related, I have started giving some thought to potential romance paths. And I've got to say, Karlach's probably at the top. I really like her. Though, thus far, I'm not sure she really much cares for Auric, but hopefully we can turn that around. I like Shadow too, but I don't know. I'm not sure we even know the real her, given her stolen memories and all. Karlach just feels a lot more genuine.
Ancient bones. Long forgotten.
Interesting.
There are Harper and Druid symbols on their equipment. An interesting pair.
Oh-ho. Good day for Gale. So evidence of Druid and Harper collaboration. Not the first we found. Though I am still puzzling over exactly what it all means. From what we've gathered so far, the Harpers came out to investigate a cult of Selûne.
What's that?
Which must be Moonhaven and the Shrine of Selûne. Which in turn was raided by like 40 different things, including potentially Dark Justiciars.
No one back home will ever
But we don't know what ties the Druids into all that. Though again, there is that carving back in the Druid Grove
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
that hinted at Dark Justiciar activity, something important enough for the Druids to actually commit it to the stone. We'll have to take a look at those carvings again next time we pass through. Possibly after we collect that evidence against Kaga. There was one carving we actually didn't end up looking at because it was marked in red for some reason. So I was worried about angering the druids if I tried interacting with it. We'll have to see if we can maybe sneak a peek at that one. Start fitting all these random pieces together. Alright, I think we're good. That covers the Blighted Village, plus the immediately surrounding areas. And just leaves various more distant quests. Ones which, in at least some cases, we'll need to tag in other party members for. Except for that one. I think we can do that one with our current party, so I think that might be what we do next. Well, after we get some rest, anyway. But first, it's time to test Karlach's mettle. Also, we've got this. What's up, Gale?
My condition is worsening again. I need to consume some powerful magic or it may become volatile.
Yeah, sure. We have in fact prepared for this. We'll hold on to the hat for now, but I should have some other expendable items here somewhere. Yeah, I think we can live without these. We're never going to have a paladin.
Thank you. It is a strange experience. Each time anew, like a lost soul is spelunking through the darkness that is me, only to be sacrificed on the dread altar of the heart. Somehow the second artifact hasn't had the effect of the first. It's somewhat relieved the discomfort, but I fear my hunger hasn't quite...
Gale, buddy, you good?
You do plenty for me, more than you realize. But this cannot be remedied. The magic isn't having the effect it should have. It's not like the last time, like a rainstorm that quells a forest fire. It merely drizzles. The embers still sizzle, the fire remains undefeated. I'm not certain what's going on, but nothing good. Please, I need to think. I need to retrace my steps to a glade of calm and think. Thank you for the artifact. A great deal of trouble it was, too. A great deal of trouble indeed.
Yeah, no problem. Something else on your mind?
It is a strange experience. Somehow the second artifact hasn't had the effect of the first.
Oh, no.
I'm merely drizzled. I'm not certain what's going... Thank you for the...
Weird. Not sure why that repeated like that. But regardless, let us be on our way. We're not here for Gale, even though he always has to make it about him. We are here for Karlach. Oh, Zoru. What's up, buddy?
We should be getting drunk, at least. It's no fun waiting for death sober.
I was hoping we could tell him about that dead tiefling we found. But I guess not.
Don't be grumpy, Roland.
I need a quick word.
Damn it!
How fares the search?
Went just fine. Got it right here.
Please let this work.
The weight of it. And that blaze of chaos. Can't imagine this where my heart should be. Must be quite the experience. Give me just a moment. And I think... There. You'll have to install it, I'm afraid. I don't think there are thick enough gloves in all the realms to protect from that kind of heat.
That feels... good. I'm still burning hot as hell's hole, but I feel less... changeable. Cheers, mate.
Pleasure. And as for the heat, I haven't got any solutions now, but I'm not giving up. Could be if the combustion chamber had its own insulation, or if we had some kind of enchanted coolant. Find me again in Baldur's Gate. If I'm worth my salt, I'll have figured something out by then. Take care, Karlach. And hopefully the next time I see you, I'll have something promising to report. Pocket any infernal iron you find along the way,
Druids.
Will do.
Who uses wooden tools?
How you feeling over there, Karlach?
Damon's upgrade didn't cool me down, but it did juice me up. I don't think I've ever felt more powerful.
I mean, that kind of sounds like the opposite of what we were going for, but... don't worry, we'll find what we need for that second upgrade. Help keep you cool under pressure.
Sooner rather than later would be good. I feel like I'm burning serious fuel.
Right. You sure you're okay?
Oh, fuck yes. I'm ready to burn all night. Speaking of, I could eat a giant badger. Is it almost time for dinner?
Yeah, it actually is. Just have to take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping. Might as well check in on our quest journal. Okay, so we need something for the Book of Necromancy. We need to meet Dammon in Baldur's Gate. And we need to just give Gale more time. So really, just a lot of hurry up and wait. Especially with Karlach. Baldur's Gate is Act 3. That's endgame stuff.
What I wouldn't do for better tools.
That's it. Let's hit the pause button real quick. I'm going to do like an hour of off-screen trading and inventory management and take care of one or two other things. And we will pick up as we settle in for the night. Be right back.
It was his caravan.
Hey, we're back. It's maybe about 2 hours later, and as you can see, we're now in mid-long rest. Though, I will say, I already kind of did the rounds here, and no one really has much to say. Aside from Will over there, so we'll chat with him momentarily. But we do still have a couple of things to go over. First of all, obviously, I took care of all that trading I mentioned. We're maybe about 1,500 gold richer. Would have been more, but I also made about 1,000 gold worth of investments into new gear, including this. Hellrider's Pride, a pair of gauntlets that I traded Zevlor a large stack of incense for. That grants physical resistance to anyone who Shadowheart heals, which, combined with the Whispering Promise, turns her healing words into a pretty potent bonus action buff. And then aside from that, we also grabbed this from Dammon. Literally, he may or may not know it's missing. But hey, it's not my fault. Dude wouldn't sell it to me, so I had to take matters into my own hands. And then as for Shadowheart's hand-me-downs, we tossed the Gloves of Power over to Karlach, which, let's be honest, she'll get more use out of than she was ever going to get from these. I think that's just more Gale fodder. But yeah, then aside from that, we also sank 200 gold into a brand new alchemy intern. Say hello to Sir Fuzzalump, a rather dour rock gnome who has joined our camp in a purely support capacity. He's a pretty straightforward transmutation medicine specialist. Should give us a fairly decent chance to double yield each time we craft potions, though I haven't gotten into that just yet. I will note, though, in recruiting this guy, it did come up that apparently Wither doesn't so much bring these people back to life as he does animate their corpse and then use their thoughts to approximate their vague personalities. I mean, it's literally his voice when you talk to them. So yeah, they are basically just Wither proxies that he remote controls to help support your endeavors. I'm not sure if their souls are still in there or they've just passed on to the next plane, but it is definitely not super creepy. I'm sure Sir Fuzzalump will be a valuable addition to the team. Anyway, let's go catch up with Will.
Well met.
Well, I'm sure you've had a chance to catch up on the day's events. What do you make of that slam poetry Satan?
He brings to mind a story. The Devil with the Silver Tongue. An old fairy tale my father read to me. The kind with a hero, a villain, and a moral. A farmer made a deal with the devil, so the story goes. In exchange for the farmer's dearest fruit, the devil granted him a bottomless coin purse. The farmer's dearest fruit, naturally, was no apple nor peach, but his beloved daughter. We can learn a lot from fairy tales. Don't you think?
I mean, that one was pretty blunt, but yes, I do agree. There is much to be learned from the right teachers and the right tales. And your thoughts on Raphael?
Refuse him. No matter how tempting the offer, no matter how delicious the feast he lays out for you, the cost will be too great.
Yeah, no worries on that account. I have no intention of making another deal. You and I both know I'm already spoken for.
That's because you still have hope. But when he becomes your last hope, remember this. He'll require of you only what you're least ready to part with, and then require more still. You might think you'd give up anything for a cure, but the devil won't take just anything. He'll take everything.
Yeah, I kind of got that. But thanks, buddy. A shame I don't have room in my party for you. You do seem like a decent bloke. I will say that notch in your horn is driving me bonkers, though. If that were me, I would be constantly fretting about my horn potentially breaking. That said, let's get some rest. Oh, and by popular demand, we will not so much sleep as we will initiate an alcohol-induced coma. This certainly seems healthy and responsible. I mean, look, we've had a long day. We can't just keep this stuff bottled up forever.
You don't sleep well, flitting between dreams and nightmares. Maybe you wake up because you know something is wrong. Or maybe you just get lucky.
Shit. No, it's not what it looks like. I swear. I wasn't going to hurt you. I just needed, well, blood.
There, in the dim firelight, you see him for what he really is. A vampire, a slave to sanguine hunger.
No way. I am once again flabbergasted by this reveal. And here I thought that boar had exsanguinated itself. But it was you, wasn't it?
It's not what you think. I'm not some monster. I feed on animals. Boars, deer, kobolds, whatever I can get. I'm just too slow right now. Too weak. If I just had a little blood, I could think clearer, fight better. Please.
Not for nothing, but vampires are in the monster manual. But don't take it personally, so are Dragonborn. You know, you could have just told me. Seriously, dude, we've all got some pretty crazy stuff going on.
At best, I was sure you'd say no. More likely, you'd ram a stake through my ribs. No. I needed you to trust me. And you can trust me.
I mean, I've got to say, Asterion, if that's what you were going for, you did a pretty piss-poor job of it. You tried to slit my throat. You tried to bite my throat. You'll have to understand why I'm a bit hesitant to give you my full-throated endorsement.
Because we don't have a choice. Not if we're going to save ourselves from these worms. I need you alive. You need me strong. Please, only be a taste, I swear. I'll be well, you'll be fine. And everything can go back to normal.
All right, look, I get why you weren't super straightforward about the whole vampire thing. It's kind of like me with my cosmic squid boss thing. I'll tell you what. Take the bare minimum you need, and we'll play it by ear from there, okay?
Really? Of course. Not one drop more. Let's make ourselves comfortable, shall we?
No, don't lie down. You're making it weird.
It's like a shard of ice into your neck. A quick, sharp pain that fades to throbbing numbness. Your breath catches. Your pulse quickens.
All right, buddy, I think you've had enough. Time to tap out.
Oh, of course. That was amazing. My mind is finally clear. I feel strong. I feel happy.
Cool, I am also happy for you, and that was not at all super awkward. I hope it helped.
Shouldn't take long. So many people need killing. Now, if you'll excuse me, you're invigorating, but I need something more filling. This is a gift, you know. I won't forget it.
You watch as he stalks towards the forest, stronger, more confident, ready to hunt.
And we live once more. Albeit bloodless. That's unfortunate. Can I fix that? Well, that certainly didn't do it. Asterion, how are you holding up?
Good morning. How do you feel?
You know, a little woozy from the blood loss. Let's just hope it wasn't all in vain.
It'll pass. Just be glad I'm not a true vampire. A bite from them and you might wake up as a vampire spawn, like my good self. All of a vampire's hunger, but few of their powers.
So is that why you're not spontaneously combusting? Is that just a true vampire thing?
Oh no. I should be cinders in this light. I hadn't seen the sun for 200 years before we crashed here. Someone, or something, wants me alive. They've changed the rules. Standing in the sun, wading through a river, wandering into homes without an invitation. They're all perfectly mundane activities now. As for my other quirks, well, we can figure those out in time.
So what do you think? Brainworms? For self-preservation or some other ulterior motive?
That's my theory, but who knows? I'm just glad you're being sensible about these revelations. I was worried people might turn up with torches and pitchforks. Although there's still time.
A vampire? Well, that explains the pallor. Given our group's nature, I don't see much harm. We're each monsters in the making, after all.
Yeah. And I'm way too hot to touch.
That you are, Karlach. I've got to say, Lae'zel certainly has her charms as well. But no, I think we can trust Asterion, at least for now. Goodness knows, if he were intent on harming us, he's had ample opportunity to do so.
Quite the opposite. I'm here in the spirit of openness and honesty, to work together as a team.
Maybe we could get him to wear a bell. Dissuade any nighttime prowling.
There now. We're all friends again. Shall we go? There's a long day ahead of us.
You do not do yourself any favors, Asterion. But I guess such is the nature of the 8 charisma con artist. I wonder if there are any hats that have bells on them. All right, folks. I feel like this is a natural place to pause it. Aside from brewing up a bunch of potions, we also need to get our daily buff set, which is a bit of an involved process now that we have Sir Fuzzlelump tagging along. Half of his spell loadout is just to help buff the party before we leave camp. I'll also say, while this obviously wasn't the most action-packed episode, I feel like it ended up being kind of shockingly Halloween appropriate. We had a spooky book, we had the things that go bump in the barn, we had a demon, we had a vampire. Not to mention our intern alchemist is a reanimated corpse puppeted by our local lich. Still super fine and not at all unsettling. So yes, I'm glad we could do something seasonally appropriate. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I will take care of the buffs and brewing off screen, and we will pick up here next time. Time to venture into the swamp, I think. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EV23, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Rowan Church, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Go on, partake. After all, it might just be your last.